Professor Mohammed Al-Masari, you are a Saudi, you are an opposition, a dissident Saudi. Don't accept any invitation to the consulate is my advice to you. Already. How damaged is the Saudi system by what's happened in the last couple of weeks, do you think?
Beyond repair, but let me just mention certain facts which are not known in the public. I was the first, the Thursday after the disappearance of Khashoggi, maybe you have been also mentioned in the Twitter, who mentioned that Khashoggi is dead and pray for his soul. And nobody else said that at that time. Later on, the Turks came and so on. But I have also other information. Both this information came from the highest ranks in Saudi Arabia, from someone who could listen sometimes to the telephone conversation of MBS with Dahlan, the Palestinian criminal living in the UAE. And he leaked some of the information to us. That's number one. Number two, I have also a good connection to the highest ranking in Turkey. The initial video, which was intercepted the same day, a copy of that has been sent almost the same day to Trump. So all what he's saying after that, he is lying. And they take the responsibility for my statement. It will come out. And the last statement, consider his last statement and say, Turkey and Saudi Arabia have good relations. He's sending a signal that if you uncover me, my collusion, because he's in collusion, because he is receiving daily intelligence briefing on his table since late 2017, in which the CIA and the FBI already pointed that Khashoggi, there's a plot to kill or abduct Khashoggi, with some American entities which have been stopped. He never warned Khashoggi. The Saudis did the same plot for us, for me and Dr. Faisal Faqih 24 years ago, and the British told them, don't even think about that. And they stopped them in their tracks. So this is an old behavior of the Saudis, only that they are now more reckless. That's it. So from these 2 points, Turkey wanted mostly to put Trump on the spot and lift the sanctions, lift the pressure on the lira, and gain on that. Gaining from American Saudi Arabia will be done otherwise. Concerning the body, yes, we have to have a corpus delicti, but in this case, we don't need, essentially, because both sides agree that the man was killed. So nobody is denying that he's killed. The Saudis have admitted, but he's dead. Nobody is disputing his death. And there's also a story from high up in the Saudi ranks that MBS insists that his head should be cut and delivered to him so he can enjoy his revenge. Anyway, whatever it is, what we should point is that Trump is involved and colluding, possibly even more actively than what I said, just as ignoring them through Kushner. The plan was actually quite good. There was also backup plans. For example, one backup plan is that a person who said Khashoggi will depart Turkey, go to Lebanon, get apprehended as a big fraud, international fraudster, and handed to Saudi Arabia. And already the Saudi Interpol announced that. But they do not pursue the story because everything went wrong. The only reason the story went wrong is that the fiancée or the wife of Khashoggi, the Turkish wife, phoned her uncle, who is an advisor to Erdogan, and immediately the Turkish police surrounded the place and everything went bad. So for taking all these facts, I know they are facts, they will come to daylight soon, not sooner than later. Trump is in trouble, and all these Western campaigner, the Western government here who are opposed to Trump, who has placed sanctions on them, and not sanctions, but taxes and etc., they are happy to slaughter him. But it cannot be done immediately. It has to be done in portion, step by step. Now, step by step, are people approaching him slightly, portion by portion. One of the reasons of that is that the other sides also, they have the blood on their shirts and they're afraid that the Trump camp will expose them. So they do it in a measured way, sufficient maybe to influence the elections. After the elections, the swords and the swords will be taken out. Concerning Saudi Arabia, it's beyond repair. Now, MBS may, as reckless as he is and brutal, he's very brutal.
I'll come back to
and
you.
And Ahmed bin Abdulaziz is here adopted by the British government.
We'll come back to that.
And Mohammed bin Naif is the darling of the deep state of America.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
We'll be back right after this. This is Kali Mahorra and George Velowitz. This is Al Mayadeen Television. Before the break, we were talking to the Saudi dissident opposition leader, Dr. Mohammed al-Masri. He left us at the break with the tantalizing possibility that rather than take a step backwards, MBS might take a step forwards and actually, by one means or another, assume the kingship itself. Kindly explore that.
Yeah, this one possibility, because he will not be shifted aside. He will not accept, even for the sake of his brother Khalid. Now, Khalid will be not acceptable because Khalid is also in collusion. He's the one who sent Khashoggi to Istanbul, because Khashoggi approached him and he gave him a nice face, etc. And we love you. And your
did he give him assurances of his security?
But since the prospective wife or fiancée, whatever she is Turkish, it has to be in the consulate. And that's since late last year. So this is in process, ongoing. So the man is implicated. That's the reason they rushed back to Saudi Arabia. The other forces, the oligarchy, you call it, the British Empire, they would like to have Ahmed bin Abdulaziz. The deep state already had his cards on Mohammed bin Naif. So they will try to put that forward, but Mohammed bin Salman will not accept that. He will not go without a fight. This is the highest.
Will he actually fight? Is there a possibility of actual armed conflict inside the Saudi elite?
That's the only entities which can fight in Saudi Arabia, the royals and their cronies and their tails and their chained dogs, if you use the old communist expression. There's the only one there. And the army is essentially ineffective, abandoned in Yemen, defeated by the Houthi.
Let me, just before we go to more Vox Box, let me ask you this. Khashoggi was not, in fact, a member of the Saudi opposition.
No.
He supported them in Syria. He even supported them in Yemen until very, very recently. He supported them in Afghanistan. He was there. He was with the jihad, with bin Laden in Afghanistan. Why would they do such a thing?
It seems to me he's very close to the intelligence. He was also the media advisor or journalistic advisor for Turki Faisal. And Turki Faisal is
former ambassador in London, former
head of the Saudi intelligence, and he was appointed ambassador in London and America just to cover up and to make him diplomatically immune from being snatched away because of September 11, because he's involved in September 11, indirectly or directly, the complicated way, BCC, etc., all this mess. So he's aware about many of these things, and he's involved in it. He is critical of the regime in the sense like someone who wants to have reforms. Maybe he's quite sincere. Only God knows. We don't know what's in the heart of the people. We could say he is, to borrow the expression of one Islamist in London, he's a chocolate opposition. A sweet and tasty opposition. But,
chocolate opposition.
Yeah, chocolate opposition. But he's definitely involved with one of the wings, and definitely believes in reforming the regime from inside, and he has his memoirs. I have laid my hand on 5 pages of these memoirs. They are full for expositions and scandals and crimes, which will, the 5 pages alone, shocking. So the whole memoirs, which seems to be printed, are in his memory stick, which may be already in Riyadh. They will be damning. And he was not publishing it yet anytime soon. Even an interview with the New York Times, with the Washington Post, was not published, or with the New York Times, I think. It was mentioned today and publicized that they didn't publicize it in his lifetime because of it could be endangering him. So he is really a treasure of information and connections and contacts. So that's maybe one motivation.